This is Campus Voices, issues, news, and notes from the campus of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, a public affairs presentation of 90.3 KRNU.
Hello, my name is Jacob Elliott, and you're listening to Campus Voices. I'm here with Karen Wills, the program coordinator of the University Program Council. Hello, Karen.
Well, hello, Jacob.
Could you tell me a bit about the UPC?
Well, the University Program Council, and I'll just give you the mission statement right away, is a student organization that provides diverse, educational, and entertaining programs to enhance the UNL community. So we are actually a student organization funded with student fees, and we use those dollars to provide fun, entertaining, educational events for our students. They could be graduate students or undergraduate students, also the Lincoln community and the university community. We provide concerts and speakers and lectures and comedians, hypnotists, movies, so fun, entertaining events for students.
Excellent. How long have you been with the UPC?
Well, I actually was on the University Program Council when I was a student, so since 1989, and worked my way up through the organization. I was a member, and then I became a chair of several of the music-based committees, and then I became the vice president, and then the graduate assistant. Then I ended up getting my master's degree in student affairs administration, left the university, working odd-end jobs for about 3 years, and then actually interviewed for the position I'm currently in 1999 and got it. And so I have been in the position now as the program coordinator or as the staff advisor for 16 years.
Wow. Impressive.
Yep.
What's your daily routine look like?
I'm really the one that keeps the continuity in the office. So I make sure that there's somebody staffing the office, and we're located in the Nebraska Union in room 134, which is right next door to ASUN Student Government and the elevator. So we're on the southwest side of the Nebraska Union. I'll get in about 8 o'clock in the morning, and then we have about 30 members in our group. And those 30 members divide, and they actually do 2 one-hour shifts of like office hours in a week. So I'll have those students coming and going. If we have any type of activities that are going on and we need projects that need to be done or posters that need to be delivered, I make sure that all that happens, making sure that the computers are updated so that if they need to work on any projects or if they need to work on any homework, all that equipment that they need is kept up to date. Any kind of walk-ins that we may have, answering the phone. I do work with a lot of emails. There's a lot of emails that I will go through that may come from agents or any performers that we're going to be working with or my colleagues around the campus that need help with contracts. So it's a lot of office type of work, but I don't like to sit it too much, so I'll get around and talk to the students and see how they're doing. Mondays are pretty intense. We have one-on-one meetings with our executive board. There's a graduate assistant and myself, and we meet with each of the 9 exec board members, half an hour each, and there's 8 of them on Mondays, so back-to-back meetings. Tuesdays consist of the advising team, and that is myself as the program coordinator, then the graduate assistant, his name is Jason Hedrick, and then our president, who's Elizabeth Rodriguez. The 3 of us meet for about an hour to 2 hours on Tuesdays, and we really look at what's going on with the group, with the University Program Council. And we also put together the agenda for our executive board meeting and our general council meeting. On Tuesdays, we actually meet for those 2 groups.
This sounds like an excellent time to go to our next question.
Okay.
You've mentioned that the University Program Council has a lot of shows. How exactly do you get these shows?
We actually have what's called an event selection process. So once the semester begins, each of the University Program Council, we'll just say UPC members, are responsible to gather information about any type of act. It could be a diversity education act, like a speaker or whatnot, or an entertaining act, such as a band or a hypnotist or a movie. And so they're responsible to gather information. And doing that, we will go online or we'll get information from other students or agents will call us and provide information. They'll send us emails, phone calls, that type of thing. So each of the students are responsible to gather that information and bring it into the meetings, and we'll have brainstorming sessions. And then the individual committees, we have a diversity education committee, entertainment committee, they kind of vet through all of that information. And finally, through the weeks, we get down to about 10 to 12 events per committee. Then they're responsible to take that information and put it into a PowerPoint slide. So it's very specific. There needs to be a clip of the performer live or a video or something that shows how they're going to react or interact with the audience. Any other information that we may have, how they performed well at other institutions, other schools. So we gather all that information, price point, availability, and then as an organization, we have what's called the official event selection day. We usually will hold that in mid-March to select our fall events, or in mid-October to select our spring events. And through that, the entire council will watch all of these videos, all these presentations, ask questions, and then through that, we keep our mission in mind. What is it that we're wanting to do? Making sure we decide that these events are for the students, not just for the UPC members. So it's really a semester-long process that ends up in a Sunday afternoon. And then we go through, vote, and then we make sure that there's availability. How does it work in our schedule? We want to make sure to avoid holidays and sporting events and other organization meetings or big events. So it's a pretty lengthy process. So it's not like we're just grabbing an artist and saying, this is who we're bringing. We've actually done a lot of evaluations and assessments with students, sending out surveys, getting their feedback after an event and saying, what do you want to see? What do you want us to bring? So it's very student-based.
Well, you've brought a lot of interesting people to campus. Some people that the University Program Council have brought include Vance Joy, the writer of the song Riptide, Bernie Burns, director of the online site Rooster Teeth, and Laverne Cox, actress in the show Orange is the New Black. Is it a bit difficult to get some of these people?
Some of the people we actually get from a conference that we attend, we're actually members of the National Association for Campus Activities, NACA, some other institutions refer to it as NACA. And it is an opportunity for us to go. We go to the national convention, which is held in February. And during this actual 4-day convention, we watch little main stage snippets of these people perform or give a speech or give a lecture or do a part of their hypnotist show or their magic show or a little part of or we actually watch full movies. And so we get the opportunity to see how they are live. Then we go into what's called Campus Activities Marketplace. And it's a huge exhibition hall lined up with tables and rows of the performers, of the agencies, and we get an opportunity to talk to them one-on-one and to find out what is their availability, and then to talk to them, how much is the artist fee? What's the travel cost? What is it going to cost us to make sure they feel at home, their hospitality writer? So we'll get information from there, from NACA, or, you know what, sometimes we could actually just call up the agency and say, hey, you know, we're really interested in your performer. What's their availability? What's their price point? And it's really not that difficult because we're an institution that has been doing this for decades and we've established a rapport with agencies throughout the nation. You know, we're able to do that. When we work on our bigger concerts, you mentioned Vance Joy, we actually work with a middle agency, Concert Ideas. And right now we're working with Dave Stevens, and he is actually our middle person. So when you're doing a huge concert of that magnitude, there's a lot of daily things that need to happen between the artist, the management, the school, and everything to negotiate a contract and make sure that that the venue's in place, that your production team's in place, sound, lights, staging, restrooms, and that's what Dave helps us with, is to make sure that we're constantly in communication with the agent, with the main agent and the management company.
Does the UPC have any regulars?
Yeah, we do. Every spring, we have brought hypnotist Dr. Jim Wand, and he comes, and we actually have him on the East Campus in the Nebraska East Union in the Great Plains Room, and it's usually the Friday following Martin Luther King Day, that Monday, and then that week is actually our UPC poster sale. That's also a regular thing that we have every semester, the week of MLK, and then also the week of Labor Day. So it's a 4-day poster sale. It's the way that UPC raises funds just for ourselves, so that we can buy things for our members, our T-shirts, our banquets, our Member of the Month little awards or snacks, and so that we're not using student fee dollars for ourselves. We're using money that we've raised. So the poster sale and Jim Wand are regulars. And he has become so popular, we actually do a 7 o'clock show and a 9 o'clock show. And it's that Friday, I want to say January 22nd, if that's a Friday. I'll have to check the date on that. But again, it's the Friday following MLK Day. And another regular thing that we do is called Second Chance Cinema. And it's the opportunity for students to see movies that have just come out of the main theaters, such as Marcus Theaters, and go to the Mary Rietmer Ross Media Arts Center and see the movie for $1. And even if it's a 3D movie, it's just $1. And we only make it open to UNL students, so they're not in competition for a seat with a public person. And we always make sure that there's 2 screenings as well. Usually the first screening is around 7, and depending on the length of the movie, the second one will be 9, 9:30, somewhere around there. And we have a really, really good partnership with the Ross, with Danny Laidley, who is the executive director, and he actually used to be on UPC. He got his start being the film buff, the film chair. He just loves international films and films that you're not going to see in the mainstream movie theaters, and has kind of worked his way up through the ranks and is now leading the Ross. And so he always makes sure that the UPC logo is shown before every screening. And even if it's not one that we specifically are sponsoring, but because we help them financially as well, there's a partnership that happens. So that's one of our regulars as well. We try to show, we call them SCC for short, the Second Chance Cinema, once a month. And again, those are just free, $1 for students.
You mentioned that you normally decide what the next shows will be in mid-October, correct?
In mid-October for the spring shows, and then mid-March for the fall shows. So right now we're working on, the big one that we're working on is the UNL Spring Concert, the one that happens in April. We're potentially looking at the date being Earth Day, which is Friday, April 22nd. Friday, April 22nd, yes. And we're still trying to figure out which performer we want to bring for that, and a location as well. Traditionally in the past, we've had these concerts outside. The UNL Homecoming Concert, I guess if we go back to your previous question about things that we do normally or on a regular basis, we always have a homecoming concert that's held on the East Campus, and then the spring concert's held on the City Campus in the spring. And we traditionally do these concerts outside on the green space. And this last homecoming concert, because of the weather, we actually had to move the concert to the Lancaster Event Center. And then in the spring, we're having a little more difficulty having it outdoors, usually on the green space outside of the Nebraska Union, because we're not finding a rain location. So we're still trying to work that out. But those are 2 huge events that we have every year.
Any other upcoming events?
Yep, actually, the last event for the semester is a Second Chance Cinema. We are doing it on December 2nd, if that's a Wednesday. That's coming up right after the Thanksgiving holiday, and we're showing Straight Outta Compton. Yep, I know it's not your traditional holiday movie that we usually do, but we get our films from Swank Motion Pictures, and we just decided we wanted to show something different, especially with everything that's happening in society right now, and just to get people an opportunity, again, an educational yet entertaining type of movie. And it's $1 for students. And again, it's at the Mary Rietmer Ross Media Arts Center. The first showing, I want to say, is actually at 6 o'clock because it's such a long movie, so that the second showing will be, I'm not even sure, 6, 7, 8, 9:30, I think, is the second showing, because it's a pretty long film.
Well, I think that's about all the time we have. Thank you very much, Karen, for coming by.
Thank you so much for having me.
My name is Jacob Elliott, and you've been listening to Campus Voices.
This has been Campus Voices, issues, news, and notes from the campus of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. To comment on this program, call 402-472-3054 or email to krnu@unl.edu. Campus Voices is a public affairs presentation of 90.3 KRNU, Lincoln.